The four gospel writers all tell the story, the good news of Jesus. And they all take the ministry of John the Baptist as the starting point. It seems that Luke almost starts his gospel twice. In chapter 1, he tells of the birth of John the Baptist. And then in chapter 2, the birth of Jesus. But then in chapter 3, as he begins to tell of Jesus' ministry, he goes back and introduces John the Baptist as the forerunner, the one who points the way to Jesus. But first of all, he sets the story in in the context of world history. And he shows that it's a message of world significance. It's the 15th year of the reign of Emperor Tiberius. Pilate was the Roman governor, Herod was king in Galilee, and Caiaphas was the high priest. But all of that's just background to the extraordinary message that the Word of God came to John the Baptist. And so God's story is about to unfold. And for Luke, John was the witness who looked beyond himself and points the way to Jesus. He's the messenger who's referred to by the prophet Isaiah, that all humanity will see God's salvation. But then in chapter 2, Jesus' birth is a very simple but powerful story of a young girl giving birth to her firstborn child, surrounded only by shepherds and stable animals, and yet heralded by angels. And John the Baptist says, "I baptize with water, but he will baptize with the Holy Spirit." That is, he will bring God into our lives and our world. And Luke claims that this young child born to this young mother will change the course of history, because in this birth, God is becoming one of us so that we can become more like him. But the problem for John the Baptist was that he seemed to become a bit too popular. He was telling people to repent and get things put right with God. And they were responding in their thousands. And people started to say, wow, this John the Baptist is a great preacher. It's obvious that the Spirit of God is with him. Surely he must be the Messiah, the long-awaited one that God was going to send. But John the Baptist said, hold on a minute. No way, you got it all wrong. I'm not the Messiah, not even close. I'm not even worthy to untie his shoes. I'm just proclaiming the way. He is the way. And so we're told that God is not making himself known through Emperor Tiberius or Governor Pilate or King Herod or Caiaphas the high priest, but through a young mother and a group of common shepherds. And when we hear the story and think about it, we're led to wonder if God can work through such ordinary people, perhaps he can still work through us. And so in a way, the Christmas story is not just about angels and shepherds and a young mother and a newborn baby. It's also about us. It's about you and me. And that God can still work through ordinary people and enable us to do extraordinary things in his service. And now, as we prepare ourselves for Christmas, I think we have a fair bit in common with John the Baptist. Like John, we have a message of great importance to people all around us. And like John, we might find that there are all sorts of barriers to it being heard clearly, like the busyness of the end of the year and the glitter and commercialism that can seem to tone down the Christian significance of the season and make it more like an end-of-the-year celebration. So that what could be the family getting together to celebrate the birth of Jesus can very easily become the family getting together to celebrate the family getting together. But our expectation in Advent is not so much to find and worship the babe in the manger, as the shepherds did 2,000 years ago. Our expectation is more to find the presence of Jesus as someone who is real in our lives, to find his friendship as the driving force in our lives, enabling us to live the peace and love of Christ in our everyday lives. And like John, our task is to prepare the way for the Lord, to prepare the way for others to find him and start out on the faith journey of their lives. Because we know that he is still the one for us and for all time. He wasn't just a supremely good man who walked across the stage of history 2,000 years ago, or a great prophet, or a religious genius. And his loving concern for all people wasn't just like God's love or the same quality as God's love, but it actually was God's love expressed in human form. And so our response to Jesus is one before whom Thomas could kneel and say, "My Lord and my God." And Peter could say, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And he's one who can still draw forth a response from us that prompts us to say something like, that sort of amazing love demands my soul, my life, my all. And so the focus on John the Baptist preparing the way for Jesus reminds us that we are to prepare the way for others, because Christmas marks the beginning of a life that shows us what God is like and what we could be like. So at Christmas we don't just worship the babe in the manger. We remember the one whose loving and self-giving went all the way to the cross. The one whose life and words can challenge us to the very depth of our being and demand a response of love and trust and the giving of ourselves in his service. Let's bow in prayer. Loving God, we're here today in this time of worship because of some experience of your presence and love in our lives. We're here seeking to find the friendship of Jesus as the driving force in our lives. And so help us to approach Christmas, that our faith will be confirmed and we will continue to be part of the ongoing story of Jesus' life and ministry. Amen.